Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the In the Bullseye podcast. My name is Paul Peck. I'm the voice of the Bulls. He is Maurice Linguist, the University at Buffalo football head coach. For those watching live on YouTube, we thank you. For those listening on the podcast, we thank you as well, too. Mo, based on the way I sound and based on the way you sound a little bit, we might be here like judging our favorite choices of tea and honey, which is what we should be doing.
Well, we talk about pounding the rock every day. I have a limited voice. We had a kids camp on Monday in the city of Buffalo. We did a free youth camp. We had a great time down there. Had about 200 kids turn out with John Fuller and Jason Martin. And then Wednesday we had our UB camp. We had about 250 high schoolers show up. So my voice is a little bit shot. I think yours is a little shaky too.
Yeah, mine's just a cold that snuck its way in there.
We'll push through it.
Yes, we will. We are here at the grand opening of the brand new Floor and Decor on Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga. What an impressive place this is. Newest sponsor for UB Athletics. We thank them. This place is pretty amazing. As you walked in, I'm sure you saw it. I know I did. If Stacy has any plans for some upgrades over at the Linguist house on the flooring front.
I told Miss Stacy we were shooting in studio. No ideas. It's actually beautiful in here. It's really
really
nice.
is.
Very nice in here.
It really is. So this is an impressive place. So if you've got any plans to do some work around the house, this should absolutely be your first place to go. Now, he's going to be awfully busy, so I don't know that you're going to have the chance to do a whole lot of homework around the home because we are on the brink of UB football training camp starting on report day is Wednesday, August 2nd. First practice is August 3rd. Give everybody a sense of you're in that little lull between you wrapped up the summer, you're anticipating getting it going. Right. What's going through your head right now?
Yeah, just 2-hour staff meeting this morning. We talking about training camp roster, talking about identity, talking about our objectives, talking about the agenda, the things that we have to get done throughout training camp. Had a really healthy staff meeting this morning, and year in and year out now, you kind of get to this time of the year, and the NFL's reporting to camp. I had a chance to talk to a couple of NFL coaches I know, and kind of the mindset and the attitude of those guys going into their camps, and we are 1 week away from starting ourselves, and just excited. There's that excitement. There's the work that that's going to be going in, the opportunity to kind of turn internal and hunker down with your team and start forming your identity and your locker room identity, the play style that needs to be true, and we're really excited about where we are. The last 7 or 8 months, kind of turning the corner from this past December, the bowl win, going into the off season, being able to recruit another number one recruiting class in the Mid-American Conference, and then getting the new additions of guys over the month of June and July over the summer, and now finally having your full roster here. They finished up their last workout on Tuesday. They have a week off, as you mentioned, and then we'll get rolling on Thursday with our first practice team meeting Wednesday, first practice on Thursday, and then we'll take off.
Two-pronged question for you as I think of the word experience. Your team has a lot more experience, a lot more guys coming back. You have a lot more experience. Yeah. This is your third go-around, 2.5, as we like to say, after the crazy first year. So start by talking about how much better you feel about your experience as a head coach, and then how much easier it now is when you have a real significant core group of players that know what you want.
Well, it's like everything. Everything in life is a process. It's all one step at a time, and what you want to do along the way is always be able to reevaluate yourself objectively. I think the best leaders, you always start with yourself. You look at what you need to do a better job of, things you can continue to build on top of, and what you did well and how you can make it better. And so I always look in the mirror first, and I think it's always a growth process, and you're trying to find ways to do what you do and do it better. I think also when you look at your roster really objectively and say, okay, these are my guys, these are your guys. They're always all your guys, but to be able to go through the real process of recruiting guys, sitting in the home with them, this is, you mentioned my third year going into my third season. This is also the third season going into with Sean Dolak and I, and the third season going into Marcus Fuqua, and the third season going into Gabe Wallace with us and Tyler Doty. And so there's the game is so much about trust and relationships and respect and expectations and knowing the guy next to you, and just the journey and the process of knowing your guys and knowing them really intimately gives you that confidence. We're in as healthy a place as we've been in as a program together, naturally over time, but because of the commitment that the guys have shown. Sean Dolek has a degree in his hand. He chose to stay. Fuqua, Gabe, all these guys that are older, Max Michelle, they have degrees in their hand. And by nature of just the way college football is and transfer portal and all these things, these guys could have left. They all chose to stay. And it tells you about the real commitment that's going on right now in the locker room. And you turn the corner after spring football, there's a transfer portal that opens, the window opens. Well, we were one of the few schools, I would say, in the nation that did not have a single guy go in. Jalen Bass is back. Damon Williams is back. We have just a number of guys that there's just a real strong connection. There's a commitment, and we got to continue to earn it along the way in training camp and make certain things true about us. But I'm really excited about where we are as a group.
You mentioned a bunch of names that you just rattled off, and I think that ties into the question about who are the guys you rely on to be the leaders of this team, and is that a bigger group of players maybe than you've had before because of the continuity?
I think the thing that's unique right now is that we naturally have some leaders that have really stepped up, that have taken that ownership role. And being a captain it's not about going out for the coin toss. It's about really leading the guys in the locker room. And we've had a number of guys that are older that have taken on those leadership roles. And I think the unique thing is also we've been able to recruit, a few grad transfers that have had leadership roles at their universities that are bringing in leadership capabilities into our locker room. A guy like Zion Carter, who's a grad transfer from Dartmouth, and Jair Stevens, who's a grad transfer, Joe Andreessen, hometown here in Buffalo, who's a older guy that's going to play significantly for us. That's a grad transfer. So I think the unique thing is you naturally have that development in your locker room, and then you're also able to attract older guys that can play well and lead. I think we're in a great space with those things.
One of the big transition points for you this offseason has had less to do with the players and more to do with the coaching staff, right? New coordinator on the offensive side in DJ Mangus, new defensive coordinator in Robert Wright, a few inevitable changes on the coaching staff, which happens to all programs. But how has the transition of the coaching staff maybe invigorated you a little bit, invigorated the players a little bit? And what have you learned about the guys that are going to be in charge of your two big units?
Yeah, I'm just excited. I think anytime you make a change, it's an opportunity to grow and improve. And I really feel like we made great contact. Like we got in a really good space with those two coordinator hires with Robert Wright. Robert and I have been together. This is not our first go around together. We were together at Texas A&M. I know Robert. Robert knows me. My wife knows him. We know each other's families. We have great, deep history together. So although there's a coordinator change, there's a lot of continuity and consistency schematically with what we're going to be able to do. And really excited about DJ Mangus. Extremely innovative, extremely bright. I guess I could wrap it up by saying, Cole Steiner's mom grabbed me after the spring game and said, this is as excited as Cole's ever been going into a season with Ron Wickham being our quarterback's coach, DJ Mangus being our offensive coordinator. We were able to hire a big-time running back coach, and we love Greg Knox and wish him all the best. He's back at Mississippi State with his family. But Brian Applewhite, we hit it out the park with our running backs coach and experience coming over from Nebraska. And you look at the defensive side of the ball, we were able to hire Michael Caputo, who has great playing experience as a former safety at Wisconsin and playing in the NFL, and then an on-the-field position coach. He was at Utah State, hired him over from Wisconsin. He's bright, he's sharp, he's got a Jim Leonard background and that great pedigree there. Dave Aranda had nothing but great things to say about him. He was with Dave Aranda at LSU, and just we just feel like we're able to hire a lot of great assistant coaches. Our team feels that way. I think the players feel that way, and we've just been taking it a day at a time and putting it together.
Moms always know best, don't they? Right? If Cole Snyder's mom feels like he's as happy as ever been, that works for me. Coach Mo and I are here at the Floor and Decor, the grand opening here in Cheektowaga of one of Buffalo's newest and best places to come for some home improvement. Great place, huge, great staff on hand here. Newest sponsor for UB Athletics. All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the players that people are going to see making those plays that are going to help you win this year. And normally we would always start with quarterback and offense, but I want to start with defense because the core of your players and the outstanding players on this team, there seem to be more of them on defense, all MAC players at every level. Take me through, under Coach Wright, what you wanted to see differently about this defense and what the players that are playing it are going to be able to do better.
I think we want to continue to play that aggressive style of play that we've been really known to play for over this last year. Top 5 in the nation in takeaways last year. You think about 133 Division I football teams. Well, there were 4 schools in the United States of America that were able to take the ball away more than us. We were number 5 in the nation. I think our ability to take the ball away is something we're going to continue to have to put an emphasis on and build on. We want to continue to be multiple looks, multiple fronts, multiple coverages, confuse quarterbacks, cause hesitation with what they're going to see, be sound in what we're doing. We've been able to dive deep into our scheme in terms of objectively looking at our own selves. What do we want to add? What do we want to subtract? Hey, this was really good for us last year. How do we make it better? Didn't call this as much last year. Do we need to carry it into spring? You know, sometimes you can make addition by subtraction, and always be fundamentally sound, always be technically sound. You know, I think our players are confident. You know, Jalen Bass is returning inside. George Wallow's returning inside. Damon Williams at the D-line. You got C.J. Bazile played going into year 3 with us again. You also have at defensive end, Kyler Lang coming off an injury. Max Michelle is back. Talented young guy in Cam Olds is back. And then we were able to recruit Jair Stevens, who's an all-conference player in FCS coming over to us now. We feel like we got a lot of healthy bodies at that D-line spot. You look at those linebacker positions with Sean Dolak leading the nation in tackles. Joe Andreessen was an FCS All-American. Khalil Murdoch, he's done a phenomenal job at the linebacker spot. Great special teams player for us. We were able to recruit and sign Gio from junior college is a name you guys are going to see at the linebacker spot as well. In the secondary, continue to be long and athletic. We were able to have Demetrius Harris come over from Cornell, who's a starter from Cornell as a grad transfer, come over. Marcus Fuqua continue to build on the season he had. The 2 starters at corner in the bowl game are both back. Trey Hines starting at corner, Caleb Alford starting at corner. Have a great healthy competition at nickel. Jalen McNair seems to be leading that spot right now. Those guys will continue to prove it throughout camp. So we feel like we're aggressive attacking at all 3 levels. We had an all-conference player preseason right now at all 3 levels. We got to continue to build. We got to continue to have that physical nature, that physical mindset, and continue to stop people.
You've been around this game long enough to know that part of being good at taking the ball away, top 5 in the country, always amounts to a little bit of luck, right? And it may be one of the hardest things to be consistently good at, right? Sometimes teams lead top 5 in the country and then the balls don't bounce the right ways the next year. Have you thought about that? Have you used your experience? And what are you doing with your guys to try to continue that? Because that was such a big part of any good defense.
Yeah, I think when you look at yourself and you start building the identity of who you want to be and how you want to play, well, we start a little bit statistically. Let's look at some numbers. Let's look at ourselves against the run, against the pass. Where do we need to improve? I think just from an understanding of scheme and from a continued improvement in our fundamentals and technique, an area in our rush defense, a number we want to continue to trim down. I think that number is going to come down because of the experience we have. Guys understanding what their job responsibilities are and really what their assignment is and how we want to, let's look at the explosive plays we had against ourselves. How did they occur and what do we need to do to cut some of those down? So that's taking place. We are always going to make the ball one of the paramount things that we talk about in our program. protecting the ball, taking the ball away. That's one of the number one indicators in the outcome of a game. So as you mentioned, yeah, a little bit of the ball bouncing your way, but it's also something we emphasize. It's something we train and practice every single day. We want to continue to add to our pass defense. We were one of the better teams in the nation in pass efficiency defense. Continue to be able to show multiple looks, show quarterbacks a lot of concepts, a lot of schemes, but then ultimately you want to execute at a high level, cut down your MAs, do your job down in and down out, eliminate big plays, being attacking and downhill, aggressive play style type of defense, and just be sound in what you're doing.
All right, let's flip it over to the offensive side of the ball as we continue to preview the season here with Coach Maurice Linguist. We mentioned a new coordinator, so there's going to be a little bit of a different feel, a little bit of a different look. But how much of having Cole Snyder back for his second year as a starter? Remember, last year, first-year starter hadn't started since high school.
Right.
How much might that be the most important part of the progression of the offense?
Well, you look at the quarterback position in college football, pro football, it is a big indicator in terms of how your team's going to perform. Usually your team is going to be about as tough as the quarterback position. And then you also want to continue to raise all of the people that surround the quarterback, raise their game up to support that quarterback position the right way. Cole Snyder operates at such a high level. He's a first one in, last one out type of guy. And I think when your leader and one of your best players and one of your best people operates that way, it allows your program standard to reach a really high ceiling. It allows every person around Cole to continue to operate at a high level the way he does. I think from an on-the-field play standpoint, he's going to continue to be more confident because of how he was able to finish the season. You look at the Akron game, we won that Akron game off his arm. You look at the bowl game, we won our bowl game against Georgia Southern off of his arm. As much as the game has changed, here's things that are still true about the game. You really run the control of the game, you throw to win the game. And we were able to win those two games at the end of the season because of Cole's confidence. His arm came alive, his connection with Justin Marshall, his connection with Keon Williams. We also have some new receivers that are stepping up, that are talented, just a little unproven right now. So we got to continue to raise the level of play around Cole, but him being a full-time starter, going through that entire season, taking the lumps that come along with being that regular starter, he was one of the few quarterbacks in the nation that started all 13 games, that stayed healthy throughout the season, that was able to respond the way a real quarterback with grit is able to respond when you have an off game. How do you come back off of it? And I think for those reasons, the locker room believes in him. And I think ultimately when you look at the quarterback spot, here's the question you have to ask. Do the guys in that locker room believe? Do they believe when he's out there? And I think right now, the way he's operated, coming off the bowl win, going into the spring, going through that summer grind, and the energy and the real energy in that locker room, they believe in him. And I'm excited about the year I believe he's going to have.
Just the third UB quarterback in history to throw for 3,000 yards in a season was Cole Snyder. You mentioned a lot of new weapons, both at the receiver and the tight end position. Who are some of those guys that we're going to see catching those well-thrown and accurate Cole Snyder passes?
Well, look, we've talked about our ability we feel like we acquire great talent in terms of number one ranked recruiting classes. And I think one thing you're going to see right now, a guy like a Nick McMillan, who was one of these big recruiting wins for us a year and a half ago, he was quietly and sneakily if you came to the bowl game, he had a couple touchdown receptions in the bowl.
Spring game.
Excuse me,
yeah.
I apologize. Spring game, thank you. In the spring game, had a couple touchdown receptions in the spring game, and just he had an opportunity to learn from a Justin Marshall, learn from a Keon Williams. And I think he's in a really good, healthy space right now. Booby Curry, who was a big recruiting win, had injuries throughout the season last year. He's healthy. He's ready. I think he's in a good spot, and we're really excited about what he's going to bring to the table. Marlon Johnson's coming back. You look at a guy like we brought to the coaches caravan last night, DJ Harding, transferred over from Duke. He's 6'4". He's long, lanky. He can do a lot of things. We have a lot of great pieces that are going to be surrounding Cole. unproven right now, really talented, and now we got to go prove it. We got to go do the work on a day in and day out basis, get ourselves ready. We're about 5 weeks away, and go make true what we know we have the ability to do.
It's one of your next recruits, maybe on the phone.
If this phone rings in my pocket, I'm disappearing because it may be a recruit. I'll come back, but we don't miss those calls.
You talked about, running, the importance of the running game, and we saw that last year. Ron Cook, outstanding. Mike Washington, outstanding. Spurts from Al-Jay Henderson, where he looks like he is going to be a game breaker. All those guys are back. You got more guys. Give me a sense of where the running game's at.
A position that we felt like, you look at about a year and a half ago, how do we continue to improve this position? Well, you got to continue to develop the guys that are in-house and then be able to attract talented guys to add to your roster. We have a Mike Washington back who is in as healthy a place mentally, physically. He's 225 right now. He just broad jumped about 10 feet in our last testing numbers. He had a really great spring, and I think he's ready to turn the corner. I think he's ready to build off of that 600 and something yards he had last year. Ron Cook is back, had a really strong year last year. He's healthy, had some injuries down later in the season last year. He's back. Al-Jay Henderson, guy like took that 80-yard run against UMass. He's got juice. And then we were able to go recruit, Lamar Sperling, who was Mr. Ohio, rushed for over 3,000 yards, not in his career, in his senior year. In 1 year. And we were able to recruit a guy like that. We were able to add a couple older guys. Dylan Kezador was a JUCO All-American at the running back position. And then Jaquez Barksdale is another name that we were able to recruit from a junior college rank. So we feel pretty deep and talented at that position. Mark Anthony Scott, who played sparingly for us last year as well. Got a number of guys. We feel like we're deep. We feel like we're talented. And you guys know one thing true about University at Buffalo and UB Bulls, we're going to run the ball.
Yeah, and you're going to turn out good running backs. Up front, 3 starters are back. Got a few holes to fill in. Gabe Wallace leads the way there. What's your thoughts on the offensive line?
Was able to go with Gabe. Crossed the border a couple weeks ago. Gabe just got married.
Good for him.
Just got married in Toronto, married a Canadian girl, sweet girl, and I was able to pop over, and we went to Gabe's wedding and saw him walk down the aisle. It's kind of, you start seeing the process of guys and his maturity, and so excited
he's
about
leading in a direction.
I said, now you're leading the household, so I'm excited for him, and he's back, he's healthy. He tripped about 15 pounds, and I think he's gonna have a big time year. Isaiah Wright started all games for us as a transfer over from Rutgers at the tackle position. He's as confident and healthy as we've seen him be, and he's coming back for another year, and really excited about what he's going to bring to the table. You see Tyler Doty. Tyler Doty was able to take over that full-time starting position in that early part of the season, and then you saw his game rise throughout the year, and he's healthy, he's confident. So we got those 3 guys back, and then you look at what we were able to do in terms of JUCO recruiting at the guard position. We were able to sign another signee there, and we're going to fill in that role. Don Polisi looks like he's leading the way at center right now, and we got to continue to build the depth. Offensive lineman is a position where the depth, you can talk about the starting 5, but it's really that top 8 to 10 that you got to continue to develop and build. We're continuing to formulate that right now, and I feel like we're in a good spot.
All right, back me up with Alex McNulty when I tell him we always save the best for last here, in case he wonders why it took so long to get to the reigning MAC Special Teams Player of the Year. Yeah. But how much we saw last year, you had no hesitancy to throw him out there to get you points, and in most cases he delivered. How much does that change the dynamic of a team, of an offense, of a play caller, of a defense, to know that you've got such a good kicker and a great punter in Anthony Veneri who grabbed that job last year?
We pride ourselves in playing complementary football. If you watched our bowl game, it was a great example of that, how the offense affected the defense. The defense was able to affect the offense. You play really, really well on special teams. You're able to flip the field, score points with Alex McNulty, flip the field with Anthony Veneri. And it's the essence of complementary football. You look at us on special teams. I mean, Alice McNulty, all he does is he wins an award every month. I mean, he was just named the SUNY Student Athlete of the Year. He was MAC Special Teams Player of the Year. He was, ever since, if you really look at about a year and a half ago, when he was able to knock in that field goal two seasons ago against Ohio.
Right.
And we won that game at the end of the season against Ohio off of his foot. I mean, he's almost been automatic. His confidence is through the roof. He earns his confidence because he's a process guy. He earns it through consistency. He's a guy, when he kicks, he knows it's going to go in. He doesn't hope it's going to go in. And it's able for the thing that we're able to do is when you're looking at our season, we played in, I think, 10 of our 13 games were one-score games.
Right.
And we had a lot of one-score wins. And it's the essence of going the ability to go out there and knock in a field goal when you have to go knock one in, or flip the field in a big-time punt when you have to flip the field. We feel like, Evan Davis snapping the ball, the consistency with which he does that, it is really, I mean, we are quietly really, really, really strong in those areas, and we know it's going to all pay big dividends for us throughout the season.
Season starts on September 2nd at Wisconsin. First, not 4 games of the season are non-conference, home to Fordham, home to Liberty, at Louisiana. Then the MAC schedule kicks in. Last week at MAC Media Day, coaches poll comes out. You guys are right there, not all that far behind Ohio, picked to win the East, right in that clump of the best 4 teams in the MAC. Give me a sense of what you think the battles in the MAC are going to be like this year.
Yeah, we know
that Toledo game on Halloween, because I think a lot of people think Toledo is the team that everybody's going to try to beat. Boy, that's already, to me, the game of the year, and we're just sitting here in July.
Well, we know, when you get into league play, the coaching is so good in this league. The talent continues to raise in this league. If you look over a 3 or 4 year study, we've had as many guys go into the NFL from the Mid-American Conference as the Sun Belt, which is known to be a long and athletic league that's over there in the South. And the players that are coming out of this league are just continuing to get better and better every single week. And the coaching is razor thin. The margins are razor thin. So here's what we do. We turn internal, and we know that we have to really take it a day at a time. And what does that mean? Can we be a better football team, tomorrow than we were today? More fundamentally sound, being able to build our depth all the way through. Because when you're playing long seasons, when you're playing championship football, the reality of it is your season starts in early August, and it goes all the way through the end of December. So everyone kind of pays attention sometimes to your top 22 and your specialists. But it's the next 20 and the next 20 after that we have to continue to raise up to be prepared in the moment when we need them prepared. There's going to be an unsung hero somewhere in that locker room that maybe we're not mentioning right now that's going to step into a starting game on a Tuesday night that we're going to need to make a big-time play for us. So we coach them all. We raise the floor. We raise the ceiling. We continue to develop our depth. We know certain things have to be true about us, our mindset, our identity, our attitude. We get into conference play. It's razor thin, but we're going to take it 1 week at a time, get ourselves ready to go for training camp, come out of training camp extremely healthy, get ourselves ready for a big, talented, long, athletic Wisconsin team. Come back at home. We need you guys at home against Fordham. We need you at home against Liberty. 2 home games that are going to be critical for us as we go down on the road against Louisiana Lafayette, a team coming off a bowl game. You look at Fordham coming off a playoff. You look at Liberty coming off of a bowl game. Wisconsin bowl team. We get into MAC play early on. We have Central Michigan and Akron. At Akron, Central Michigan at home. We know Central Michigan's going to rebound. They're going to be long and athletic. Akron continues to raise the floor. Joe Moorhead's doing an outstanding job there. And then we're getting into the thick of it. So we know there's going to be certain things that have to be true about us. We got to grow. We got to build. We got to be steady in the storm. We got to take it a day at a time. And we're really, really excited about where we are and what we're going to be able to do this year.
Excited to get it going. As Mo mentioned, you can tell he's excited. Training camp starts for the Bulls on Thursday, August 3rd. Season opener, September 2nd, rather, at Wisconsin. Always good to catch up with you. Always good to get the latest update on the season. Can't wait till it all gets kicked off. Grab something nice for Stacy and the kids, on the way out here to bring home to them today.
I rode over here with John Fuller. I'm sitting down with Paul Peck again. That means it's football time.
That is right.
It's football season.
That is right.
And maybe I get some hardwood floors on the way out.
There you go.
We'll see what it looks like.
We have enjoyed being here at the grand opening of Floor and Decor in Cheektowaga, one of Western New York's newest see places for home improvement, and we thank them for being our host. Thank you for being a part of this. Can't wait to get it going here in the next couple of weeks, Mo. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you again on the sidelines.
Appreciate you listening to this week's edition, or this edition of the In the Bullseye podcast. If you're still on YouTube, we're going to stick things around here because now we're going to talk to the real boss of the show today, Justin Pease, who is, you got an awesome title, and I want to make sure I get it right. Justin, Chief Executive Merchant.
Absolutely.
Which means you're the big boss here at Floor & Decor, right?
It means I get in charge of 45 people, and they get to tell me what to do all the day. So it's great. It's fun for me.
Well, you're a former college football player, as you and I were talking, so you kind of know how that works, right?
It's fun. It's fun. Everybody listens to their coach, and, I've got a lot of great coaches here. My wood manager came from LL Flooring. My pro manager came from Tile Shop. We have a great assortment. They know what they're doing. There's a lot of knowledge in this building. That's what we built here.
All right, so because this is the first Buffalo location for Floor & Decor, there may be some people who want to know what you guys are all about. Why is this the place? I mean, the name says an awful lot, but give everybody an idea why this is the place they want to come to first.
First and foremost, this is an 80,000 square foot building. I keep almost 1 million square feet in stock at all times. It's one of the largest retailers, specialty of hard surfaces. What you're used to seeing in Home Depot, Lowe's, and everything like that, 3-4 aisles, that's what I put in 80,000 square feet. All right, you've got so many options for hardwood, so many options for engineered, vinyl, tile, lots of nice water jets, and of course we have everything to finish the project. You're going to have your vanities, all your nice new lighting, all your fixtures that you're going to need, and I keep it in stock. All right, so when you're ready to buy your project, you have the option. You can take it with you right then and there. You come back with your contractor, have them pick it up. Whatever you want to do, we're here for you.
Give everybody a sense of what sort of the process is. Somebody walks in the door and they're like, hey, I want to redo my bathroom. I want to redo my den or my entranceway. Your guys are going to help them in what ways?
So, there's a lot of different options here. All right, so you have a design team that I keep on staff at all times. So there's a designer, whether it's somebody who's gone through design school, somebody who's still in design school, people who've graduated design, natural leaders in this industry who just know a lot about the product. They are all here to help you put together what you find on Pinterest and everything like that. HGTV is great, except for they don't tell you what the product is. You take the picture, you bring it into my team, they'll put it all together for you. You come over, we have our pro team. Our pro team is based 100% around our contractors. Anybody who does this for a living, we're here to support you. That's what we're here to do. All right, we want to make sure that everybody who's doing this is making as much as they can, and we want to make sure that we can help.
We're talking with Justin Pease. He is the Chief Executive Merchant here at Floor & Decor. We are part of their grand opening here in Cheektowaga, just off the Thruway, the old Thruway Mall. For the longtime Western New Yorkers will know this is kind of where you guys are at. What is it about the Buffalo market that connects with this store? Are the people here the kind of people that want to get down and dirty and do a little bit of their own home improvement?
Absolutely. So we offer Saturday classes. We're going to teach you how to do everything. All right. I also have people in this building that want to do it for you. All right, so we have our own installation made easy program. It is separate from our company, but we have contractors that'll come out, they'll do the measurements, they'll tell you how much it'll cost to do that, or you come in and you learn from one of my display builders or one of my assistant managers here that'll teach you how to actually install every project that you're looking for, whether it's putting in a shower pan system, which is super difficult if you don't know what you're doing, to hey, maybe I just want to learn how to do a backsplash, and we'll teach you how to do that here too.
You were listening to Coach Mo in the earlier part of our interview, and the part of being a good coach is always staying on the cutting edge of what's new and what's different. And Coach Mo talked about making some staff changes, bringing in a different attitude for his offense. What's the new cutting edge stuff in your world as the head coach here? What do you have to learn to make sure that your team knows what it needs?
My biggest thing is I'm staying on top of design options. I have to watch and see what's all new and trendy in the design world. We're staying on top of things. Green is one of the popular colors this year. Making sure that we have lots of different options. When you come into our store, you're going to see a lot of different sizes. So you're used to seeing a 1 foot by 2 foot. We stock a lot of 2 foot by 4 foots. We stock 4 foot by 4 foot squares. Things that a lot of companies don't carry. That's what we do here. We want to make sure that the new exciting things are here. They're shown. They're beautiful. I mean, when you walk in, first thing you do, you turn to the left and you see 34 different display options showing you how many options we have here. All right.
That's pretty cool. My wife is a big fan of HGTV and all the shows, which means then that filters back to me. And I think the one thing she always brings up to me is the flooring options are incredible now. You can get wood that looks like tile. You can get tile that looks like wood, colors, all that stuff. Is that sort of one of the biggest innovations in your world about how those different options have developed?
Absolutely. I mean, you walk our showroom, you're going to see a lot of different vinyl options. I mean, that's one of the big things that you're going to see here in Buffalo. We stock, I think it's 200 SKUs of vinyl, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry. That is in stock, ready to go, almost 1,000 square feet at all times of those products. And then getting the tile looks, all right? Everybody's used to having porcelain tile and everything like that, but everybody wants to make it easier on themselves now. So we're working on that. We're getting as many click-together porcelain or vinyl options that we can.
We're happy to have you as the newest sponsor for UB Athletics. What appeals to you guys about being connected with UB and the Bulls and football and all the other great sports and athletics that are going on campus?
I mean, the huge following that you guys have. I mean, anybody who's part of Buffalo stays part of Buffalo. Nobody leaves, you know. Whether you are living in a different city or wherever you are, you're still part of the University of Buffalo. You're proud people. And that's one thing that we noticed here coming in. You know, Buffalo is very, very honest and very true to who they are. And man, it's like a whole family. You know, I've never been in a town where everybody is family. And that's what this is, it feels like in Buffalo.
You've spent a decent amount of time here. Now you're coming back to be in charge of this store. What's different? What have you noticed about Buffalo from the last time you were here?
How much it's growing. It seems like there's always a new thing popping up. You know, when I left here 4 years ago to move to New Jersey, and now seeing what has changed, you know, driving down the road, I can call my wife and say, hey, this just opened. It seems like Buffalo is really catching up, and it feels like a major city.
All right, give everybody an idea what you got going on here. I know as we record this here on Thursday, it's the grand opening, but I know you've got a whole bunch of events to take you through the weekend.
Yes.
Give anybody that's watching or is going to watch this what do they need to know about the next couple days here?
So 2:30 today, we're cutting the ribbon. All right, so we are going to invite everybody over, have some little food trucks. You know, it'll be all here, ready to go. There's 3 or 4 chambers.
Big scissors. We got big scissors.
Big scissors.
You probably stock those, don't you?
Listen, I don't stock them. We are going to have somebody else cut them today. I'm not very good with the scissors. You'll learn that. All right. I'm not the installer, I promise you. Then the weekend, Saturday, first 200 people that come to this store here get an opportunity to win $1 million. All right. You roll some dice, you spell floors, you win $1 million. No catch. That's
Awesome.
all it is.
Love
Roll
it.
the dice, win. You get 3 out of the 5 letters, you win some money. You get 4 out of the 5, you win. So it's a little bit of everything.
All right, so this is the place to be here in Cheektowaga over the next couple of days. So we are prime.
Hopefully longer than that.
We are prime. Get stuff done season,
Absolutely.
right? School's coming back in another
absolutely.
month. It's football starts another month, so we got a window here. If you want to get these projects done, now's the time, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and again, it's in stock. It's ready to go. You can get the honey-do list done before the kids go back to school or before you have to go and actually start calling all the games. I'm sorry.
Well, hopefully, I can't wait till you come over to the UB Stadium for one of our games. Hopefully, I'll sound a little more like I'm supposed to sound as the voice of the Bulls. But it's been a pleasure getting to know you. Been a pleasure to be a part of this. Hope you enjoyed everything listening to Coach Mo. Every time I sit next to Coach Mo, I can't wait to get out there and see what's going on.
You want to hit somebody yourself, right?
So you're okay. You're all right. I'm too old for that now. So too old for that. So good luck with everything here at the store. Come say hello to Justin when you come in here. Thank you for joining us, not only for the In the Bullseye podcast record, but live on YouTube with Coach Mo and Justin. Floor and Decor, the old Thruway Mall site on Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga. Grand opening, all kinds of stuff going on here. Make sure you come on out here. Justin, thank you. Bulls fans, thank you as well for joining us on this edition of the In the Bullseye podcast.